Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day, and welcome to the Fastcast, your weekly podcast of everything football, fantasy predictions, best news, you name it. We have it all here every single Thursday morning, right at 8 a.m. And today, I'm joined here once again by another Fast brother. How are you today? What?
Yeah, feeling good. It's another week of playoff football. Bills win. Bills beat the Jaguars. Everyone was like, oh, the Jaguars are going to win. But here we are. Bills are moving on. The Jaguars are going to Cancun. Just like I told you. And so far, every single one of the games I chose last week came to fruition. How does he do it, you guys ask?
I only think I
I
missed
have
one. I think I missed
I
the
have
Eagles-Niners game.
You did. Didn't you do the Whoopsie Daisy Chargers
I
and
did the
Patriots
Whoopsie
too?
Daisy Chargers too.
You did
You're
the
right.
Whoopsie
Yeah.
Daisy. Yeah, that's two incorrect. So compared to my none. Okay, sorry.
We still got
Continue.
games to play, but my gosh, what a weekend! A wild card weekend of football. Almost every single game, besides the Charger Patriots one, was like high tier, like last minute. Did you know the first three games of the weekend
Yep.
here? None
All the
of
winners. Yeah. Yeah. Continue.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, none
I'm
of the
getting out of
teams
you.
that were leading at the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter won the game. First three
Yeah.
games. Absolutely incredible weekend of football. This is like the best
Yeah, the Eagles
opening.
ruined that streak.
Yeah, like I said,
And they
eyeball
had a
avoider of the week.
chance.
I had it on
Yeah,
record.
they had a chance.
Eyeball avoider of the week, that game.
I don't know.
Maybe the Chargers Patriots were
Yeah, I think
typically
that
for
was
one.
mine.
But yeah, I mean, all the games are great. And the Monday nights was kind of competitive, at least for a little, I'd say the first half. But yeah, that could have very well have been Aaron Rodgers' last football game we see in the NFL. By the way, we have no topics today. We're doing a free balling 2 weeks to go Fastcast podcast. So we're just going to kind of go with the conversation, go with the flow, nothing prepared here. Let's have fun with a conversation today. What do you think of Tomlin stepping down? I have a question for you after you answer the what do you think, the Tomlin leaving the Steelers. One, who's going to fill that? With already, like, it seems like half of the league of coaches leaving. Who's taking the spot for the Steelers? Harbaugh, Matt LaFleur, and then do you like the decision? I think this is another Sean Payton thing where Tomlin decides to step away on his own, so he still does have. I think this was last year, the contract or whatever it is, but he can come back next year and maybe do some like TV stuff or whatever, and then almost like a Sean Payton, come back a couple of years later kind of thing. But I doubt he'll be a coach on a team next year. Caleb, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, before I answer that question too, I just want to say that this year has been incredibly weird. Do you agree? Do you agree with like it?
Yeah.
I feel like coming into this game, everything just got flipped on its head. Like if you told me that the Chiefs weren't going to be in the playoffs, the Bengals weren't going to be in the playoffs, the Ravens weren't going to be in the playoffs, like all these teams, like the Seahawks are like the running number one team right now, heavy Super Bowl favorites, I'd be like, what are you talking about? But I don't know. I feel like this, with all these coach firings happening, with like a lack of production kicking wise, like none of the kickers have been truly exceptional besides Cam Little making 80-yard field goals back to back to back to back.
We have the best
I
kicker
don't know.
in the
I
league.
just feel like this has been a very odd year. But but yeah, I mean that's it's what happens. You know, every year it's going to be a little different, and this one just happens to be extremely weird. Um, but in terms of the coach firing, or not really firing, he stepped down. Tomlin, it's I don't know. I mean, it was what 19 years,
Yep.
19 seasons with the Steelers, and they've only had. I think I saw a stat that said they only had four coaches since like 1964, which is
That's insane.
crazy. Yeah, it's been a long time, and honestly, with the success that he's had, you know, never having a losing record during all of his years as the head coach there, insanely impressive. Um, but you know, with the flack that he's been getting recently about not winning playoff games and everything, it's it's if it's in his best interest, it's in his best interest. Um, I think he will not struggle getting a football position, whether that's another coaching thing or even if that's just being an analyst or an announcer or something. I don't know, anything football related. I'm sure we'd all be glad to hear his wisdom because he is. I think he was a very good coach, regardless of his success on the Steelers. Um, Being able to bring your team to a winning record for 19 straight seasons, you have to be at least semi decent to do
And a Super
that.
Bowl.
and a Super Bowl.
Not a
Yeah,
lot of
right,
coaches can
right.
say they've won a Super Bowl. So
That's very true as well. Yeah,
only
so
one
I
team
think
wins it every year.
no matter what happens next for him, I think he'll be successful.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And a lot of it, and even Nick, the Fastcast Steelers fan, says he wanted this to happen. He wanted a fresh start, Tomlin to leave. This is going to be the test, I think, for that. And it's going to be a really like either we told you so or a big wake up call to how well Tomlin actually really performed for the Steelers. My take on it
Yeah,
is I think no matter what after the season, this season, and we knew it was going to be both of us predictions first round playoff exit for the Steelers. I think it was pretty much a firing, and the owner came to him and was like, "Yeah, we're not going to let you have you anymore, but we're going to let you walk away, quote unquote, because of his legacy. You know, he really can't fire Tomlin." So I think that kind of happened in the background. Maybe it was mutual, but yeah, I almost think that this wasn't a Tomlin like. It's pretty much a firing, is what I think.
I think if anything, it was more mutual. I mean, you got to think this has been happening for what was it, oh my gosh, I almost did it, 6 or 7 playoff games in a row where they lose first round. I mean, they lost that many consecutive games, playoff games in a row.
Yep.
And so, I mean, we've been hearing this for a couple of years now about how they haven't had much playoff success, and is Tomlin the problem? Should we get rid of Tomlin? Whatever. They always seem to end up that 9-8 or 10-7 record, and um, so I think this year was just kind of like the year where he was like, okay, maybe this isn't gonna be working out for me anymore, and then like you said, maybe the owner stepped in and was like, hey, this might not work out anymore, and then it was like, okay, yeah, sure, all right, we'll both just agree. I'll walk away.
Another thing I think we didn't talk about last week, or maybe it didn't hit by the time we were recording, but Mike McDaniel's leaving the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm. Mike McChicken Nuggets.
Mike McDonald's 20-piece chicken nuggets left the
Yep,
Dolphins.
that's the one. Yeah, yeah.
LaFleur, do you think he's staying or going?
He's probably staying.
Think he's staying for the Packers?
I think so.
And we'll go with your top prediction. I can't remember if we did this last week or not, but top prediction for a landing spot for Harbaugh, Ravens coach.
Harbaugh, I really, really like the Giants for him.
I don't.
and I hope that he takes it. I know you don't. Of course, I know you don't. But I think uh, just where they are in the rebuild and what success they've had, even though, I mean, granted, the record isn't very pretty, but I think that they have the talent on that team to where a good head coach could really elevate them. Maybe not to like a immediate Super Bowl, whatever, but like I'm thinking like Dan Quinn type comes to Washington, brings a rookie to what was it, the championship round, which was pretty crazy. So I think something similar could happen there. Uh, if he goes there, I like that landing spot for him. Will it happen? I have absolutely no idea. Um,
So here's the thing.
yeah,
As
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
with my hot takes, I'm never wrong.
Well, I wouldn't say never.
I'm never wrong. I'm always 100% correct. Here's what I mean.
Okay.
Last year at this time, right around this time, right around divisional round playoff week, we had a conversation about the Carolina Panthers. And I sat here on the
Uh huh.
podcast and said, next year, they'll be one of the most improved teams in the whole entire league. This year comes around. Three of my hot takes. This was like week 4 or 5, maybe 6. I said the Bears were going to win the division. That happened. I said the Carolina Panthers. And mind you, this was when Baker Mayfield was in the MVP conversation and the Bucks were on fire. I said the Panthers were going to overtake the Bucks and win the division. That happened. I also said when the Colts were 7-1, they were going to have an ultimate downfall and the Jaguars were going to take over the division. That also happened. I'm 3 for 3 this year. And now I say all that building up to this. This will be my hot take going into next year.
The
I'm
Bills
going
win
to
the Super
take
Bowl.
no, I'm going to take that same
Oh.
take from the Carolina Panthers this year and I'm going to move it on to the New York Giants. I think they're going to
Oh,
be a
you think?
very strong
Huh.
team, most improved, possibly division winning team next year. Hot take
I
it or
would.
leave it. It's recorded all on YouTube. You hear it here, 8 a.m. Fastcast. Mark that down
I would.
because next
I
year
would
when we get to this
almost agree
point,
with that.
I'm gonna come here, sit right here at this time next year, and I'm gonna say I told you so once again. Cause like I told you, I'm never wrong. But let's go into what do you think. We'll kind of shift gears from the coaches and all that. Let's talk about Wild Card Weekend. Did you have? Yes, you hit every single game. Congrats to Caleb. He's never wrong
I'm
as
never
well.
wrong.
This is why you should listen to the podcast, guys. Every single Thursday, 8 a.m. We are both never wrong. Any surprises from the games? Who do you think was a little underwhelming? Maybe outperforming going forward into this week? Who do you think has the highest momentum, the highest potential? All of that surprises, momentum. What surprised you on the weekend?
You know what surprised me? Not much, obviously, because I got all the games right. You know, I'm just clairvoyant. I can just see into the future. Omnipotent. You know, all of the omnis. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't too much that surprised me per se. Um, except I would say that I mean that Bears Packers game was fantastic. I thought after the first half, I'm like, oh, the Bears are just done.
Exactly. I said those
I got my
exact words. They're
like
done.
oh wow, crazy! I got my first game wrong. This sucks. Whatever. And then I started watching, and then they kept coming back, and I'm like, there's no way, right? And I was actually watching this game with a Packers fan too. I was watching it with my buddy, and he was very upset, and that was kind of funny. But yeah, no, I think the Bears have much greater of a chance than a lot of people would like to believe. I think that they're a very solid team with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams is like low key a clutch king. Like he's been fantastic in the clutch this year. So I honestly think the Bears are a team to look out for. The Rams once again struggling to the Panthers, who they did lose to earlier in the regular season. That was somewhat of a surprise to me. Except I think offensively the Rams just are, I don't know. I think they're gonna really bring it out full force in the playoffs. And for some reason, I just think that Panthers matchup isn't fantastic for them. Uh, so I think they'll be much better in the future matchup here against the Bears, who I was just hyping up. So I think that'll be a really good game. Um, and yeah, besides that, I mean, Chargers Patriots, that was kind of like a yeah, that happened kind of game. Patriots defense did look really great, but the Chargers just, I know, offensively aren't fantastic. Um, Texans Steelers, nothing too fantastic there. It was the Texans defense, of course, just completely stole that game. Bills Jaguars, of course, Bills are the best team in the league. Obviously, they're going to win. 49ers Eagles, that was, that was my hot take, I guess, for the week. And obviously, that turned out to be true. Um, really sucks about Kittle, actually. I think that's going to be a massive blow to that team, is George Kittle going down.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that's about it for that week, for the last week's games.
Yeah,
What about you?
really. I had three big takeaways. You hit on a couple of them. Number one, as you know, before the season even started this year, I had the Rams winning the Super Bowl before a game even started. As you know, I'm never
Uh-huh.
wrong, so that's
Uh-huh.
going to happen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But once
We'll see about that.
again, is either like a tough matchup for them, or maybe we see some faults coming into the postseason, but a little bit closer of a game than I thought against the losing record 8-9 Panthers. I thought they'd be able to, put aside their game from they lost in the regular season to them, and kind of come out and show them a more dominant side of the Rams, and have a more proficient game, and show them they are the Super Bowl favorites. So that was one of the surprising takeaways for me, that it was actually a lot closer. And going into this week and this next matchup, my other takeaway is the Bears have 7 this year comeback wins in the fourth quarter. And to me, that's culture building around the whole locker room, that this team literally does not quit in any moment of the game. They will not give up. Even if there's a minute on the clock, they will fight to the very last second. And that is a scary team. So I think, like what you're saying, the Ben Johnson effect, and this team, they, for me, have one of the highest momentums after that last week win. They are like riding a, we're all in. We're chips all in the board. Every single card that flips, every river, every deal, they're they're not stopping foot on the gas. And then the last takeaway for me, the Texans defense is out clearly the number one defense in the league. Going forward, that's going to be a scary team to play against, and I don't know if anyone can outplay them. Their offense against the defense. They have the momentum. I think, what are they, 9 wins, 10 wins in a row now going into the postseason. They almost seem like they're the hottest team. I would say outside of the Jags, but obviously they just lost to the Bills. Great game, by the way. But I think right now they are the most on fire team, and that defense is looking pretty unstoppable. So that could be game of the week coming up. I also have Rams Bears pretty close to game of the week as well. But those are my three. But yeah, I guess there's only one thing left to do, and that's to move on. There's only 4 games this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We're going to start with Mr. Bills himself going into Denver, the number 1 seed, AFC. This is basically a pick 'em. The Broncos are favored at home, -1.5. This is a Saturday, 4:30. By the way, still don't like the Saturday things. I think at high disadvantage. They had to go from East Coast to West Coast here. Short week. Denver's been off for a couple weeks now, so this could have a lot of implications going into this game. And unfortunately, Bills fans, I hate to do this to you, but I have to be real. As you know, I'm never wrong. It is 10:29, and that is a fact. After having so much rest and seeming to have picked up their offense and Bo Nix and playing great, number 1 seed, it's very hard to go into Denver. What is the elevation there? Like 70,000 feet into the sky. It's almost like you can't breathe up there. Very cold. Yeah, the Bills are but they're not. They're not used to the thin air. No one can be prepared for this. But the Broncos have been eyeing this game. I think they're going to be a very tough opponent. And unfortunately, Bills fans, you're going to have another away game next week because I'm going to take the Bills to win this game. I'm going to take the underdog. Money line, give me the Bills. I think you get it done, and Josh Allen is going to prove himself once again that he is a playoff caliber elite quarterback. One you can rely on in any pressure situation. And I don't know, this is a gut read. Everything in this game, stat wise, defense wise, run defense, the Bills, improving Sean Payton, like everything is pointing to the Broncos this game, and my brain is telling me to pick the Broncos to win. But my gut read is telling me that the Bills are going to come out on top this game, and I'm taking the underdog for this game, giving the Bills money line. Away, by the way, in Denver.
Homemade, by the way.
Homemade.
Well, of course, the Bills have the early window again, so I will miss a portion of this game, which sucks. But here's what I think. If you guys recall, last year's playoffs, this was the first round. And as we recall, the Bills won it last year. However, this is a very much changed Broncos team. Offensively, they're probably better than last year. Defensively, I'd say roughly the same, I believe. Very good team that's only getting better. And this is their revenge game. Now they're home. They're ready to take on the Bills. It's going to be do or die. They already know that. They've had their break. Ready to get out there and sling the ball against the Bills. The Buffalo Bills last week lost 2 receivers in which they already did not have. Both to an ACL. Thank you, Jaguars, for tackling at knees. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Gabe Davis and Tyrell Shavers gone. ACL out for the season. We currently have 3 receivers. Not good. We are thin on almost every position. We have a ginormous injury list. Josh Allen taking hits to the knee. He's taken, he hit his finger on some guy's helmet. He's taken beatings left, right, center. He got sat on at one point in the game. He's battered, short week, across the country. But it doesn't matter. The Bills are just going to win. They're going to go to Denver. They're going to crush them. It's going to
You're
be
building
nice,
that up.
easy. James Cook is going to run for about 175 yards, calling it right now. The Denver Broncos are. Bo Nix is going to throw 3 interceptions, thinking he's got the defense all red. But Sean McDermott's going to come out with his disguised coverages, and Cole Bishop is going to get 2 interceptions. Matt Milano is going to get the other one. Whoa, Matt Milano, linebacker, old guy. He's going to get one. Yeah, watch this. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a tip ball by the line. Matt Milano is going to dive on it. It's going to be crazy. Everyone's going to go nuts. Final score is going to be about 38-7, and it won't be close.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, give me the Bills money line. And I wasn't wrong last week. I'm gonna keep that magic going here, so you guys just feel safe knowing that the Buffalo Bills are gonna move on this week, and the Denver Broncos. I'm sorry, but you guys suck.
Once again, I gotta ask you. At this point, is this a successful year for the Bills fans, or if you lose this game, you're disappointed?
Well, obviously, I'm disappointed.
Over, like you're gonna be like, obviously you're upset if you lose the game playoff. Obviously, you want to win the Super Bowl.
We do not have much time
Couple
left, so we got to bring everything we
couple
got.
weeks postseason after the season, you look back. Is this a successful year for the Bills if they go out divisional round this year, or is it Super Bowl or bust for you?
With what they have, it's always successful. Josh Allen, with his lack of weapons, it's a Josh Allen and James Cook show on the offense. I mean, leading receiver has 700 yards receiving. What does that say?
So you're gonna
Um,
say they lose,
I
say
think
start of
it.
next year. We're looking back at this game. You're like, you know what? Yeah, that year was okay.
No,
I'm content with that
because
year.
I won't, because with our current cap space and with who we have and who we're probably going to be losing, we are going to be a much worse team next year. So
So you're Super Bowl or
every
bust
single one
this
of
year.
these years, every single one of these years, I'm like, it has to be. It has to be now. It should have been like 5 years ago, but that's, you know, 13 seconds happens,
That's
and the whole
absolutely
entire year is lost.
absolutely tragic. All right, well there you have it. Lock it in. We both picked the Buffalo Bills to advance to the AFC Championship game, and now we're gonna head over to an NFC game, divisional. San Francisco 49ers, topping the Eagles last week, are going to Seattle, the number 1 seed, bye week last week. Seattle Seahawks are favored at -7.5 this game at home, over a touchdown spread. And man, these division games, they somehow always tend to keep it competitive, keep it close. And with only 8 teams left in the league, you can only imagine that this 7.5 is extremely high. But as we know, Vegas, they know something. Seahawks have been playing great football. Sam Darnold, as we know, he's that guy. Always a question of the spotlight situation. Can he win important games? He had some good moments in prime time, high highlight games this year. Maybe he's flipping a switch. But as we all know, he's a good quarterback. He's a starting quarterback in this league. He gets it done. Back-to-back years, incredible years. Last year on the Vikings, this year on the Seahawks. Yeah, they lost the number one seed game last year, but here we are, once again, NFC, getting a number one seed this year. And I mean, they're just too hot. Their defense, top five. They have the number one receiver in the league. Our offense is insane. They score a lot of points. They hold people to none. At home, off a bye week. 49ers, once again, their whole defense is banged up. They lost a big piece in George Kittle. They only have CMC. And for my first whoopsie daisy of the week divisional round football, can the 49ers do it, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my god, this is insane. A 7.5 point whoopsie daisy spread. Yes, I'm taking it. Although I am going back on my word that the 49ers are not a good football team. This is also something that I'm looking at. I'm like, something crazy is going to happen this week.
Well,
And I think this is the game that's going to happen.
well,
I think the 49ers are going to the NFC Championship, and they're going to take down the number one seed Seahawks in the divisional matchup. Big 7.5 point spread. Give me the whoopsie daisy.
wow, that is certainly a choice. Um, Man, I mean, Seahawks and the 49ers in the regular season did do a split, but the more recent game, the Seahawks did take it. It was like a 13-3 game. That Seahawks defense was just all over the 49ers. And I don't know. I feel like they've just been losing more and more pieces. Brock Purdy doesn't look as great as I don't know. I don't see where the whoopsie daisy comes from. Uh, and I think everything you were saying about the Seahawks was just right. I think they're a good team offensively and most assuredly defensively. And I think they're going to hang on to this game. I think the George Kittle loss is absolutely massive for the 49ers, not just in like the receiving aspect, but blocking aspect. I think that's where Christian McCaffrey is going to kind of feel a little bit less there. I don't know. I feel like the Seahawks just kind of have the 49ers number in terms of offense, so or defense. Seahawks defense compared to 49ers offense. I think they just have their number, and for that reason, I'm gonna go the complete opposite result here. I'm gonna go with the -7.5 for the Seahawks. I don't think this game will be that close.
Very interesting take. We'll see who's right. As you know, both of us are never wrong, so one of us is going to be right. All right, guys. 2 more games left to cover. Let's switch back over to the AFC. We're going to go to New England. And to be honest, looking at this game, Drake May, he was, I'll give him okay at best. He didn't look like the MVP caliber quarterback of the league. The team played great, absolutely phenomenal. The defense only held Justin Herbert and Chargers to 3 points. But I think more of looking at this team, getting Drake May the experience in a postseason game can only grow going into this one at home against the Houston Texans. By the way, Patriots are favored by -3. That being said, earlier I recapped that the Texans, my big takeaway, their defense outshined for the week and are still proving to be the number one defense in the league. So that game under your belt in the postseason, Drake May looking kind of I think it's going to improve going into this game. But man, yeah, the Patriots look good. Texans look pretty good. I think this could potentially be game of the week. This is Sunday, 3 p.m., by the way. This is not the primetime game or the late game. Man, I took the two The two underdogs so far. For my second whoopsie daisy of the week, give me the Texans advancing to the AFC Conference Championship game. I think their defense is going to be too much for Drake May. The inexperience gets to him this game. I thought they were going to have a first round exit last week, but guess what? I'm betting against them again. The Texans are too hot, man. They've won so many games in a row. Defense looks great. CJ Stroud coming back. Offense clicking. I think everything looks good about this Houston Texans team. They got the ride. They got the wave. Little inexperience getting to the Patriots at home this week. Give me my second whoopsie daisy. This could be whoopsie daisy 3 out of 3 so far underdog picks for me.
Well, this game. Let me just start out by saying, for my first whoopsie daisy of the week, the New England Patriots suck balls, and the Houston Texans take the game very easily. The defense, oh my gosh, all over Drake, May, or Drake, whatever, Drake, May, Drake, May, Drake. All over him. We saw it with the Bills. Unfortunately, the Texans just take over the game. I think, his inexperience in the playoffs is going to get to him. I think the Texans are going to have that pressure on him at all times. The Chargers put the pressure on him. I think with like 5 sacks last game, and I think the same exact thing is going to happen. Only that the secondary is not going to allow him to run the ball like he was able to. And I think this Texans defense is much better than the Patriots defense. Although the Patriots defense did play very, very well. I think the Texans are just overall just going to be much better in that aspect. That I'm going to have to see is if the Texans can actually do anything on offense. CJ Stroud did not look that great last game, but I think he will kind of bounce back a little bit and at least be able to provide something for their Texans defense. So yeah, give me the money line whoopsie daisy for the Texans.
I like it. And, I mean, the offense really hasn't had to score too many points to win the game. I think they're keeping teams under 20 points all year long.
Yeah.
I don't see that changing at all this game.
Nope.
So, my thought is if they score literally just 20, they win this game.
Right.
And I think they're capable of doing that.
I agree. I think their defense will probably put up a couple.
Yeah, even that too. They get a scoring defense play. That's pretty much game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the pick. That's 3 out of 3 for me. I might be a little bit crazy, but let's move on. We're going to go to the final game. We're switching back over to the NFC. This is for the matchup. These two teams, and this is we got 2 weeks left to go, so we won't be covering the Super Bowl going into last week because it's only a 1-game coverage. So we will be talking about the NFC Championship games next week. So unfortunately, guys, we're going to sign off until next year. We'll do a close off next week, last of the season. We're going to go into season 3. I'll be coming back strong. Maybe we'll get a new cast going into season 3, but we'll talk about that later. Let's go to the Rams visiting Chicago Bears. Now this, I mean, pretty much all the games are games of the week, to be honest with you. All these games, I feel like, are going to be, once again, another great weekend of football. And as everyone knows, I can't go back from the Rams here. I had them as my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the season. And I feel like after their little weird, maybe matchup, mismatch kind of thing against the Panthers and overcoming that and beating them the second time around, they do have a little bit of possible secondary issue, so Ben Johnson might be able to find holes, score a lot. This could be kind of like a shootout situation game. But man, I'm going to trust Matt Stafford a lot more than I do Caleb Williams, although the Bears do have the fourth quarter comeback mystique to them, they just never give up on these games. This could be another nail biter. The Rams are actually favored in Chicago at -3.5 for this game. So all of that, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in Fastcast history. Taking 4 out of 4! Whoopsie daisy! I can't believe it! Whoopsie daisy, Bears! Chicago, can they do it? They're riding the wave. Oh my God, yes sirree! I'm taking the Bears to take down my Super Bowl pick. And I can't believe I'm doing it, ladies and gentlemen. 4 out of 4. I'm taking all the underdogs this week for a crazy weekend of divisional round football. Give me the Bears money line to take out the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow, you actually picked all of the underdogs this week.
I did.
That's incredible. Well, at least you know not to follow him and instead follow me. Because for this game, let me tell you, that fourth quarter magic will not matter at all when the Rams go up by 24 points by halftime. Although I do think they end up making it close. I think the Rams offensively are just way more sound than the Chicago Bears. I think in order for them to win this game, they have to come out hot, which they usually don't. They kind of save it for the second half, but I think the Rams are going to come out shooting. I think the Rams are going to be a much better overall team, and I don't think they'll be able to claw back even at home, even with that last stellar game and how they were able to move the ball. I don't think it'll matter. I think they're kind of going against that experienced guy in the playoffs who's not going to allow anything funky to happen. And you saw it in the Panthers game. They were losing. But Matthew Stafford just said, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll just go down the field and score in like 7 plays. And it doesn't even matter. What are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. Because he's just that guy when it comes to playoffs. So give me the LA Rams to win this game with the -3.5 spread. And for the Chicago Bears, it's been a great run. Ben Johnson looks like he is your head coach for a while. You guys have a bright future. However, it's just not your year yet. But I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah, and that's the thing that scares me too about this game is the Bears defense hasn't been playing the best. So this is literally, I think, probably going to have to be a shootout. Match to match, throw for throw, touchdown for touchdown for the Bears to win. Yeah, there's no give up on this team. Give me him at home. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our divisional round picks. Next week, we're going to the conference championships to decide how did we end up here? The Super Bowl already. Like, it seems like the time just skipped right by. But, as you all know, every single week we have everyone's favorite time of the Fastcast, which just happens to be...
It's time for It's Okay, It's Not Okay.
And by the way, Caleb has no idea what this is going to be.
I don't, and I'm
I just
scared.
thought of this. It's going to be a quick one. Simple one. But a question that we should all ask ourselves. Is it okay or not okay to write off Justin Herbert, being that he's had another playoff failure? Can we call it, or can we even say that he's just not an elite quarterback? And he is, aside from all the stats or whatever he may have, eye test, okay or not okay to write him off?
Now, writing him off might be a little much. However, Here is what I will say about little Herbie man. I think he is a great quarterback. I think many teams would love to have him as at the quarterback position. I think he leads his team to a lot of regular season wins. And I think that can make anyone a great quarterback. But when it comes time to playoffs, when it comes time to shine, of course, this year I honestly don't want to put much fault on him, because looking at that offensive line, oh my, I mean, there's no wonder why he was running for his life the entire game and trying to do everything by himself and taking it when or running it when he probably shouldn't have been and looking downfield. He had like zero time back there. And I mean, the Patriots were just calling blitz after blitz after blitz, and they were just getting through every single time. And it was a scary game. Honestly, it was like playing a horror game. Um, he was seeing ghosts for sure. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it seems like every year in the playoffs, it just kind of all crumbles down for him. And so, if the question is it okay to write him off as being elite, or write him off in general as like a good quarterback?
Um, I'd say one that can get an elite, like one of the top.
I would say it is okay to write him off. I
So,
would. I would say he's not there yet. How can you be considered an elite quarterback when you have zero playoff wins?
okay,
It's
yeah.
not
So I'm
very
kind of
elite of you.
confused. It kind of backed him up the whole entire way.
I did. I did. However, I think he is a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. Many teams would like to have him, but he's not elite at all. Not yet.
Yeah, so I thought about this. It's okay. It's not okay as well, and I think it's a little bit loaded because you do look at him play, and it almost seems like he is an elite quarterback. Like eye test, stats test, it seems like he's there. Couple situations, he's the only non-changing piece in his team, meaning he's been through a whole bunch of different players, O-line receivers, coaches. He's the only stagnant piece and continues not to win playoff games. So at some point, you kind of have to look at it accountability wise, and be like, I mean, he's the only one that's been consistent, and we still don't have a playoff win to come out of it. Even going into this game, not even a touchdown, 3 points against the Patriots in a postseason game. It's almost like a flop again. It's almost like a big choke fest as soon as we get into the postseason. And as we know, they had 11 wins on the season. They've had the same issue the entirety of the season. We all knew what they were coming in. How many excuses can you build up for him until it's his fault? Oh, it's the coach this year. It's the O-line. Oh, he didn't have a receiving core this year. It's his rookie season, postseason. A lot of people were comparing it to like a Peyton Manning. I think he lost his first 5 playoff games before he won anything and became significant and all of that. I think that's the case. Maybe we could boop that later. But that's why I kind of came to the conclusion is, can you write him off? I think it is okay because we've had multiple years of results lead to the same outcome. In elite, I put a high emphasis on that. Quarterbacks that can get you to the next level, that can get you to the Super Bowl, that can get you to an NFC championship game. At this point, about as many as tries as he had and all the stats that back him up, and elite, awesome, fantastic seasons that we've seen him have, stats wise, eye wise, it just doesn't get done at the end. So I say it's okay. But let us know if you think differently. Maybe there's one change that can happen. Maybe you get a solid O line. You win the Super Bowl next year. But let us know what you think, if it's okay or not okay. Just completely write them off. Is this like a quarterback change for the Chargers situation? You tried a new coach, you tried new coordinators, you tried that. When do you start trying? Maybe it's the quarterback avenue. But as always, we're going to conclude this week with our closing remarks. But first, make sure you listen next week for our last episode of the Fastcast for the season. We'll be back next year for sure. Ending the 2025-2026 season, we'll have our Super Bowl results, our predictions, who's going to make it, who's going to win it, next week, 8 a.m. at the Fastcast. And as always, go Cowboys. Next year is our year. Caleb, take it away.
Roses are red, grass is green. Oh wait, no, I messed up already. Roses are red, grass is greener. When I think of you, I play with my fill in the blanks. Let's go, Bills.
Be safe around trains. A message from Metro.